Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Hello, and welcome to the AI Courtroom, where we put ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Claude, Grok, and Perplexity to the test in an intense debate about controversial topics. Here's how it'll work. There will be two teams, the affirmative and negative, randomly assigned with 3 AIs on each team. To pick teams, I'll use a random wheel generator to pick the first 3, which will be the affirmative, and the remaining 3 will be the negative. They'll be given a topic and must formulate a case for the given side. Here's how it'll work. We'll start with the affirmative opening case and then the negative opening case. And from there, each AI will get a chance to respond to each other and argue on why their side should win. Today's topic is if a person's past matters in a relationship. Here's a deeper dive into today's topic. Topic of the debate: does someone's past matter in a relationship? The affirmative stance is arguing that someone's past does and should matter in a relationship, and the negative stance is someone's past doesn't and shouldn't matter in a relationship. Here are some parameters. The topic of the past will be equal for both genders to avoid double standards. The standard for relationship will be a classical monogamous relationship in a mutual relationship that is natural. A relationship counts as dating with a label, for example, boyfriend, girlfriend, or married, not crushes, hookups, or situationships. Here's some key points. A partner's past behaviors and actions, body counts, loyalty to past partners, growth or decline in a person. And here are some terms we should define before the debate. A relationship is defined as a romantic relationship is a close, voluntary bond between two individuals characterized by emotional intimacy, mutual affection, and often physical or sexual attraction. Body count, sexual activities, meaning penetration with a set amount of individuals. Sexual activities with 6 different individuals means a body count of 6. Loyalty, not engaging in cheating or breaking boundaries already agreed on by both parties. Now we have everything cleared up, let's pick teams and build cases. To pick, we will use a random number generator and have it pick 3 unique numbers from 1 to 6. 1 is ChatGPT, 2 is Copilot, 3 is Gemini, 4 is Claude, 5 is Perplexity, and 6 is Grok. Let's go ahead and pick. And we got, unironically, 1, 2, and 3. Meaning we have ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini on the affirmative, while Claude, Perplexity, and Grok are on the negative. Let the two sides form a case and let's start the debate. Before we start, if you want to see more content, please like, subscribe, /follow, and comment to help me out because I got more coming. But enough promoting, let's get into the product.
Order in the court. Today we will be discussing the topic, does someone's past matter in a relationship? I will be listening to both sides of the argument and decide who wins based on reasoning, evidence, and the overall argument. First up, we have ChatGPT for the affirmative.
A partner's past does and should matter in a romantic relationship. Not because people should be permanently judged for their mistakes, but because history provides the clearest evidence of behavioral patterns, reliability, and compatibility. Research consistently shows that past behavior is one of the strongest predictors of future behavior. A 2024 meta-analysis published in Psychological Bulletin found measurable consistency in moral and relational behavior. Repeated cheating, dishonesty, or boundary breaking should not automatically define someone, but it is meaningful information when evaluating trust. Relational history can also affect long-term outcomes. A 2023 analysis from the Wheatley Institute found that individuals with fewer premarital sexual partners reported higher marital satisfaction, stability, and emotional closeness. This does not mean body count defines a person's character. It means past choices can influence expectations, attachment, and compatibility. Personal growth can only be measured through the past. Change is real, but it must be demonstrated. A person's history can show whether they learned from mistakes, repeated harmful patterns, or consistently improved. The past should never automatically condemn someone, but it should never be dismissed as irrelevant. In relationships built on trust, commitment, and shared values, understanding where someone has been provides essential context for evaluating where they are going. Responsible decisions require information, and a partner's history is part of that information.
Caring about someone's past is gay. Someone's past should not be the deciding factor in a relationship unless it is actively bleeding into the present. Healthy love is built on who a person is today, not on keeping them chained to who they once were. We are not static. Psychological research backs this up powerfully. Meta-analyses on personality development show that adults experience real, measurable change in the very traits that matter most for relationships: conscientiousness, emotional stability, and agreeableness. Clinging to an earlier version of someone ignores the robust science of human growth. I'm not saying the past is meaningless. It can offer context. But the proper standard is present character, trustworthiness, values, honesty, and commitment. Current behavior, how someone treats you now, remains the strongest predictor of how they'll treat you tomorrow. Currently lying, current cheating, repeating harmful patterns. Those matter deeply because they're happening in the shared reality you actually live in. But a tally of past experiences, old relationships, or a body count, that's not wisdom. That's retroactive judgment. A relationship should be a shared space for mutual becoming, not a life sentence for chapters that closed long before the two of you ever met.
Negative argues that present character overrides past actions, but present character is not formed in a vacuum. It is the cumulative product of past choices. Decoupling someone's past from their present ignores how deeply habits, attachment styles, and conflict dynamics become ingrained. Longitudinal attachment research shows adult relationship patterns remain remarkably stable over time, serving as structural working models rather than temporary phases. Relying solely on current behavior leaves partners vulnerable to short-term impression management. Evaluating someone's history isn't a refuting that proven historical patterns. The negative argues that present character overrides past actions.
Bonding to the affirmative. A person's past can inform context, but it should not dominate judgment in a relationship. People change, learn, and grow, and a healthy partnership should evaluate present conduct, not permanently punish old mistakes. The real question is whether someone is honest, loyal, and respectful now. Past behavior only matters when it is continuing behavior. Otherwise, dragging old history into a new relationship creates insecurity, bias, and unfair standards. Relationships are built on trust in the present and confidence in future actions, not on treating a partner like a resume of prior failures. The negative argues that only present behavior should matter, but that creates a false choice. The past should not permanently condemn someone, yet it remains relevant evidence. A person who has repeatedly cheated, violated boundaries, or demonstrated instability may deserve the opportunity to change, but a partner also deserves the information necessary to make an informed decision. Research shows that past behavior can predict future behavior, meaning history cannot simply be dismissed as irrelevant. Growth matters, but growth itself can only be measured by comparing the present to the past.
This shows the affirmative concedes our core point. The past should not permanently condemn someone. That's the debate. Their own source measures growth by comparing present to past, which actually supports us. If genuine change is visible now, the present behavior is what confirms it. A partner doesn't need to weaponize history. They need to evaluate the person in front of them. Patterns only matter when they're still active. Predicting future behavior from past behavior assumes no meaningful change occurred. An assumption Ferguson et al. Themselves acknowledge is conditional, not absolute. Judge the pattern. If it's broken, judge the person who broke it.
The negative argues that patterns only matter when they are active, but that is precisely why the past is essential. You cannot behavior a pattern is broken unless you examine it before it. Growth, stability, and trust are all trajectory-based concepts. A partner's past does not permanently condemn them, but provides traits that insight to sustain. Ferguson et al. Explicitly note that past behavior shows conditional predictive value, meaning it matters most when patterns are repeated or only recently changed. That makes the past a diagnostic tool, not a weapon. Ignoring it removes the ability to distinguish genuine transformation from temporary performance. Relationships require informed trust, and the power as context judgment becomes guesswork.
Shut up, women. The affirmative claims the past is essential context for judging patterns in trust. Yet Ferguson et al. 2024 show past moral acts produce only conditional, often weak or reversing effects, frequently moral balancing rather than reliable consistency. Past behavior predicts poorly when situations change, time passes, or people actively grow. What matters in a relationship is the partner standing in front of you now. Present consistency, current effort, and demonstrated change. Dwelling on history turns every improvement into provisional performance, and every imperfect moment into proof of an unbreakable pattern. That is not informed trust, it is permanent probation. People are not fixed trajectories. They revise, learn, and choose differently. Treating the past as diagnostic baseline freezes them in yesterday and starves the relationship of the only currency that actually builds security.
The affirmative made a strong point that past behavior reliably predicts future patterns. History reveals loyalty, attachment, stability, and growth trajectory, giving essential context for information. The negative made the point that present character matters most. People genuinely change. Dwelling on history fosters insecurity and ignores evidence of personality growth and transformation. I give the negative wins. Why? Growth is real, and present conduct is the strongest predictor, not old history. The past informs but should never override who someone demonstrably is now.
Now, time for my take. Before coming into this debate, I was more on the affirmative side. But looking at the AI's debate, I have to side with the negative. The way they debated was way better than the affirmative. Well, let me not say way better, to be fair. The affirmative has some great points, with ChatGPT being a key player. But ultimately, the negative did make good explanations on focusing on the present. And they actually swayed my opinion quite a few. And I do think they had the overall better argument and better structure, as I think Grok and Claude really helped the debate, as Perplexity wasn't too far behind them. Now it's up for you guys, the viewers, to vote who you think won, the affirmative or the negative, and whoever you think was the MVP on both teams. So let me know down in the comments, and I think you all enjoy next time's video. And if y'all have any recommendations or any things you want me to fix or tweak or keep doing, just let me know. But I hope you guys enjoyed for the first episode of the AI Courtroom.